Yeah, what's happening? We about to bring that action. Gotta hold it down for my Seattle Kraken. Hey, we going beneath the waves. We going beneath the waves. Get it hype, step onto the ice. Ready for some action. Release the Kraken. Hey, we going beneath the waves. Going beneath the waves.
What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Beneath the Waves podcast, your weekly recap of all things Seattle hockey and beyond. I'm Matt.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Derek. And before we start the show tonight, just wanted to give a big shout out yet again to our very own Heather, who is writing for the Hockey News covering the Seattle Torrent. The Torrent are currently on a break, as are the Kraken, for the Olympics. So Heather has not produced any other articles yet, but go over there to follow the Torrent once they're back in full swing. Heather will be writing articles covering them. So you can find her over in our show notes, the link over to the Hockey News or over to her socials. Anything else, Matt, on what Heather's been doing?
The Torrent are still practicing, those who are not over in Italy right now. So she's going to be, ringside taking in some practice action. So yeah, follow her on Twitter to follow along with that. That's at Heather Nicole with no E on the end. And since you already threw it to me, you don't get to government name. Welcome in, everybody. It is episode 56 of the BTW pod. On today's episode, we're going to catch up on the last week of games that happened before the Olympic break and check in on all the latest Kraken news. Before we get into those things, however, the wheel's been stationary for a while with no games being played. So, Alex, where has the money puck wheel been frozen at as we money puck around and find out?
So it's funny because you say that it's been frozen in time, but earlier today I checked it. It was 68%. I just did a little bit of a reload, and it's actually 67.7%. So somehow we lost 0.3% and the Kraken aren't even playing. So I call voodoo or chaos or witchcraft on that. But regardless,
Wait, did you just say 6-7?
6-7. You just tossed it up, didn't you? But yeah, so we're sitting at 67.7% of securing a playoff spot for this season. I believe it's our highest that we've been all year. So it's either the highest or very close to. There's no games being played, so that's not going to change until at least the 22nd. But it's extremely high. We've talked about how close the Pacific is pretty much the entire season. So this can go up or down seemingly with each game won or lost. But Kraken have a 1.2% chance of acquiring the top pick in the draft for one Gavin McKenna probably at this point. But yeah, honestly, at this point, I'm feeling confident. I'm thinking this team is an NHL playoff team, like definitely a Stanley Cup playoff team. But that's as far as I'm going to go with it. I don't know how far they're going to be able to go, but I'm turning the page into believing that this team can definitely secure a playoff spot. What about you guys? What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. I think we'll probably make the playoffs. You said it's the highest all year. It's also the least amount of games left all year. So that's dope that those two are lining up like that. Just looking at the standings, in the Pacific Division, like you have the Golden Knights with a differential of +12, the Oilers with a differential of +4, the Kraken in third with a differential of -3, the Ducks with a differential of -10. Like it's all very close grouped together. In the Central, you got Colorado +74, then Wild +27, Stars +33, Mammoth +26. So it's like juggernauts over there, and so if we're only playing Pacific teams in the playoffs, I think we could get a round or two. But yeah, right now as it sits, we're tied with the Ducks, same amount of games played. We both have 63 points, and then the next lowest team are the LA Kings, same amount of games played, 56 games. And we're a full 3 points ahead. So we can afford to completely lose and then completely win, and we'd still be a point ahead. So decent advantage. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but decent advantage when you have to play out all these games and both teams are going to be winning and losing. So I feel pretty good about making the playoffs.
I like the mindset of, this is the fewest games that we have left that we've had all season, because you know what? That's going to change every single game. So I do like that as that window narrows. As long as we do well, our opportunities are going to expand. And 1.2% of first round picks. See, say we're going to pick Gavin McKenna, but I don't know how we're going to pick him when he's serving 20 years for felony assault or whatever it was.
Yeah, that
So,
got dropped, so
oh, it
he's
did?
clear.
Yeah, it got
Yeah.
dropped. It got
Oh,
dropped.
I've been following the Olympics too closely that my feed is just Olympic hockey and Bad Bunny memes. So, good
Yeah,
for
well,
him.
if anyone was wondering why I was late today, it's because I was no, I'm just kidding. I'm not involved. Okay.
He
All
doesn't
right.
know what time zone he's still in from last night. So
Yeah. Yeah, Derek, how you feeling in a post Super Bowl victory world?
Holy that was so awesome. We've been waiting over a decade for that shit to get retribution on the Patriots, bro. That every Seahawks fan will say, "Oh, too soon, too soon. Malcolm Butler, too soon." No more. That's called facing your past and overcoming it. Okay? The Seahawks are fucking dope. The parade's gonna be on Wednesday. I'm not gonna be able to make it because I got school, but yeah, go Hawks, baby.
I mean, they're not doing like a citywide holiday.
No,
Oh.
missed
Okay.
opportunity on that one.
unfortunately.
So Derek's football team won their respective championship.
Oh,
My
you mean the
football
Super
team,
Bowl?
my football team won its respective championship. Alex, what have your sports teams done recently?
Well, the Bills didn't do much.
Ooh.
Bills haven't done much.
What about football with a U?
My football, like my soccer team, we're talking about here.
Yeah, football with a U.
Oh yeah, my
Football.
football club's been fantastic. They're like sixth or seventh in the championship, which is the second league in the below, like it's the Premier League, then the championship, and they've been promoted 3 years in a row. So like they're doing fantastic. But
But there's
my
probably
brain,
no hardware that comes with that, hey?
Wait, Matt, SKRR, they won
What?
the is it the Grey Cup? Is that what it's called?
The Grey Cup, yeah.
Yeah, it's
There you go.
great.
Let's go SKRR.
SKR. I think you're
You
the only
know,
person in the history of ever who is called by that abbreviation.
Skirt.
Skirt.
you know what though? What I see the Seahawks win, and my first thing that I tweeted about it after the game actually was, I really hope the Kraken management, Kraken ownership are taking notes on this.
Yeah. I honestly this is just complete tangent at this point. But there were also rumors that the Sonics might be announced this summer. So like Seattle in general might just be on an insane heater with the Mariners, the Seahawks, maybe the Sonics coming back. So the Kraken, bro, if there's gonna be a year where there's gonna be like a unicorn run, it needs to be this year for the Kraken. That'd be so sick.
Yeah, the stars need to align.
Mm.
One more thing, a little side tangent before we get into the Kraken breakdowns, is I wanted to give a little quick Olympic update. We haven't had any men's hockey at this point yet, but the women's hockey is in full swing. Not sure how closely you guys have been watching, but I have been loving 1 in the afternoon hockey for free, watching on my CBC Gem app up here in Canada. Um, in terms of torrent players, HK21, Hillary Knight herself, has 2 goals and 2 assists so far, and she tied the most goals by a U.S. women's hockey program player in the history of U.S. women's hockey. So we just need her to get one more to take that. Alex Carpenter has just been absolutely crazy. She has 3 goals and 2 assists. Hannah Bilka has 1 goal and 1 assist, and making just like an all-star like debut. I guess it's not debut because it's her second season, but Julia Gosling, Goose. I am becoming a big fan. She has 3 goals so far. They've all come on the power play, I'm pretty sure. So maybe when the Torrent get back together, that's going to be something just elite that kicks off. Have you guys
Wait,
been watching?
she's only a second year player.
Yeah, I think she was drafted last year.
What the hell, dude? With how much I hear her name, that's actually insane.
Yeah, it's have you guys been watching Following Close at all? It's kind of weird being in Italy, but I've been liking following along.
Basically, just been doing what I can. I think one of my favorite games to like slightly watch was the Canada Switzerland game. I think it was where I got a notification being like it's a close game. Canada leads 2-0, and then I checked the shots. It's like 40-3. What are you talking about? Close game.
Yeah, it's been pretty exciting to see. Tomorrow, as of the time of this recording, is the big US versus Canada showdown. Marie-Philippe Poulin went down hurt today. Hopefully she's back tomorrow because that's a pretty big piece to have in that. And I'm sure we'll have some cross-border trash talk happening.
No, all three of us are cheering for Team Canada, or at least against Team USA. That's all I want to say.
Sweet. I love it. All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming with Kraken things. Quick rundown of those games that we had last week. I messaged Derek and I said to Alex before, it's been the same buffer of time since we have last recorded, like when we usually recorded, but it feels like it's been decades since Kraken hockey has taken place because we have not had a game in 5 days and it feels like 5 years. We are currently sitting at a record of 27 wins, 20 losses, and 9 overtime losses, which, as said before, puts us currently in third in the Pacific. The two games we had last week, we split. We had a 4-2 loss against the Ducks because those Ducks, they always got our number,
Yeah, I
and
do.
a 4-2 win against the LA Kings, which was a very exciting one to see. It was a while ago in the not so grand scheme of things, I guess. How are we feeling after this 50-50 week that took us into the Olympic break?
Fired up, to be honest. Like, yeah, we lost a game against the Ducks, but we bounced back and beat the Kings. Like, they're both divisional, they're both in the division. So, like, you take one and you lose one. So, like, kind of like evens out at the end of it all. But at the end of it all, like, what I really look at it, like, if you can keep playing at even like, if you can get 2 out of 3 wins every week, especially against, divisional rivals, take it because that will take you to the playoffs. And I think at this point, we're all optimistic and hopeful that this team can secure that playoff spot. So if they keep playing the way that they've been playing, maybe add an extra player here and there between now and the trade deadline on the 6th, I believe it is. This team could definitely do something. Make it into the playoffs, and then once the NHL playoffs hit, any team can do what they want. So it's possible for any team to make it all the way down right to the end. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it all. Scoring's definitely been positive. So I'm pretty happy with it all.
Yeah, on that note of scoring, I mean, I'm looking at this right now. The Kraken sit at 14th in the NHL in goals for above expected during 5-on-5 play, which is, I mean, that's what we were begging for pretty much the whole season. Just start getting those goals above expected. Because the Kraken are not really a team that have ever really generated a lot of expected goals, even in our playoff season. We just had a bunch of guys that were scoring a lot of goals above expected. The main guy is usually Jared McCann, and he's wasted no time doing that again in his return to the Kraken. So that's been sick to see. The Kraken are also first place in the NHL for goals against above expected. So in 5v5 play. So shout out to the goaltending, man. That's so sick. Grew had a mid bad game against wait, what's up, Matt?
No, my brain's just wrapping around. First
Goals
place
goals against above expected.
goals. So okay,
So sorry.
it's one of
The number is negative. It's
yeah,
whoever
yeah.
has the
It's one of those
biggest
things like
negative number.
you want your doctor's report to have a negative result, not
Yeah,
test positive.
okay, yeah. So yes, exactly. Seattle has negative 26.6 goals against above expected. And then yeah, like last place is Ottawa, and they have 25 goals against above expected. So that's bad. That's bad. That's a 50 goal difference. Gru kind of had like a mid game against the Ducks, but I mean he's entitled to one at this point. Yeah, I mean, other than that, it's really just nice seeing multiple games. A couple weeks ago we had like 2 games in a row with 5 goals. This last week we had a game with 2 goals for, and then a game with 4 goals for. So it just feels like we're having a lot more of those games where we get 3 or more goals, which is that's sweet, right? That's awesome. I'm feeling good. What about you? What about you, Matt?
I'm feeling pretty solid. I love the comeback of Jared McCann, just continuing to make up for lost time and make sure he racks up those points. Shane Wright, casting away those trade rumors that were going around and just either making his case to stay or driving up his trade value. I don't know. We'll see what route that takes, what fork in the road that goes down. But he's been doing super awesome. He had like I think it was in the Kings game. He had a 2 goal game. So he was on hat trick watch, which was very exciting. And I think that's the second time this season he's had a 2 goal game. So he's coming for that hat trick. He wants those hats to fall and he wants them to fall with a purpose and not get it yanked away like Jared McCann did. But yeah, I'm feeling good. It would have been nice to get double wins against division foes, but we'll take the wins where we can get them. We'll hopefully, get some nice wins when we come back from the Olympic break and crack 70% on the money puck wheel. We'll see what happens. But yeah, all in all, feeling pretty solid, especially now that I understand what goals allowed above expected number one ranking happens to be. So I got there eventually. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026. NHL. All rights reserved. So let's continue talking about him with our trade watch, our trade update. Shane Wright, he made it to the Olympic break without being traded away. We were worried, maybe hopeful something big return could happen, but I'd say mostly worried as a fan base that Shane Wright was wanting out and going to get traded away before that break happened. But he is still here. Do you think he will still be here for the 13 days that last between the return and the trade deadline?
Yeah, I do. I said in the past, I think this will just be like a little bump in the road, or hopefully it will be a little bump in the road with Shane Wright's long and fruitful career with the Seattle Kraken, but it's kind of looking like that to me. He brings this up, and I feel like his usage is kind of increasing a little bit. His performance is increasing a little bit. And he has, I think I said even last pod, as long as he feels like he's able to contribute and he's contributing, he's going to be fine. And then he comes out with this 2-goal game like right after that. So he's definitely in a spot right now where he's contributing. I think his frown is going to turn upside down. And when he comes back, he's going to be just loving life with the Seattle Kraken.
So I'm sitting at a 50-50 with this. The one side of me, the fan aspect, would love for Shane Wright to remain with the Seattle Kraken because I definitely think he's finding his groove this season, and playing under the Lambert system. I believe, Matt, you mentioned like this is his second time this season that he's been on Hattie Watch. Like those 2 times have happened in like the last like 3 weeks. Like it hasn't been like a long stretch, but like these last like he's really picked it up over the like since the beginning of 2026. So like that's something that is really great to see. My concern with that, it's not even a concern. I definitely think that the only way Shane Wright is dealt at this point is that if it's to bring in someone that has a super high ceiling in return, like we're talking like one of those top players. And we're gonna talk about him next, but I had if we manage to acquire Artemi Panarin, I think in a situation like that, I think Shane Wright would have been a player going back to the Rangers in that type of a situation. So I look at maybe Jason Robertson if he's available. Do the Kraken find a way to acquire Robertson? Is Shane Wright one of those players that goes back in a package for Robertson, or Robert Thomas, or even Jordan Kyrou off of the St. Louis Blues? If the opportunity arises to acquire one of those players, is Shane Wright that player that ends up being packaged in to acquire said player? So I think that if a deal like in that type of situation can be done, I think Shane Wright is most likely off the team by the deadline. If a trade like that doesn't materialize, Shane Wright will remain with the Kraken for the rest of the season. Maybe something happens in the offseason, but that's the way I'm kind of looking at it. Because he's definitely improving his trade value, but at the same time, it might give the management, more eyes on him to be like, okay, why don't we just keep him? Like this could pan out long term.
Okay, random question for you, Alex. Would you, if you're the GM of the Kraken, would you ever consider trading him to like the Kings? or like a division rival or anything that's like close in points to us?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I
Like,
was
do you
just
really like? Do you want to better one of your divisional rivals?
no, I don't think so.
That's
And
what I
I'm
mean, right?
I'm scared because like I feel like the Kings would be really hot on him. And I don't know if every GM operates like this, but I feel like in the past, well, like think with like Stevenson, it's like Stevenson has owned the Kraken before, so it's like okay, maybe that's not a thing, but I feel like sometimes it is a thing where GMs are like they watch all their own team's games and they're like, oh, this guy absolutely torched my team, like he's good. If they have anything like that, the Kraken play the Kings April 13th, the last time this season. That could be like to see who makes the playoffs. Can you imagine Shane Wright on the Kings scores like the game-winning goal April 13th to keep the Kraken out of the playoffs? Bro, that would be heartbreaking. We cannot. We can't send him.
So, okay, well, first off, the Kings don't have anybody that the Seattle Kraken want. Like, in terms of like, you have to think about like what kind of player the Kraken are going after. Like, I know we're gonna talk about Panarin's like next, but like Panarin's like one of those like superstar level talent. Like Panarin's more of like the older, like on the older side of things, but like the Kraken are not looking at like offloading Shane Wright for like some like middle six guy. um and call it a day. So like in my eyes, like the Kings aren't even a possibility. Like I think that's where like if you're gonna offload a player like Shane Wright, who has an incredibly high ceiling, like he's going to go to a team that you're bringing back a guy, has that all star power or superstar power, but you're packaging a significant package to acquire that talent. And I think Shane Wright's one of those players that goes off. And I don't see the Kings being an option. I honestly don't see a lot. Like, do I see Vancouver, maybe Elias Pettersson, maybe, but like I don't even know at that point.
Is that where Panarin went to the Kings?
Yeah, Panarin went to the Kings.
So imagine it's like, oh, we like trying to dole out all this, and then we don't get him, so now we'll overpay in a trade package for him. With Shane Wright. Oh.
Yeah, I have three things off of that to wrap up this little chat. First of all, it was 6 days between Hattie watches for Shane Wright, so it was very close together. Uh, Second thing, if we are scouting people who have our number and do historically well against us, we got to take Jordan Kyrou then, because dude has 9 goals and 2 assists in 12 games against the Kraken. He seems to always score against the Kraken, and I know that because I have vivid memories of tweeting that fact out every time we play St. Louis. He happens to score. And third, Alex, I think you have a future as a hockey insider with your take of if Shane is traded before the break, he will not be on the Kraken, but if he is not traded, he will be with the Kraken till the end of the season. Because that is a Dave Pagnotta tweet right there.
I feel like Alex's was better than Pag's bullshit, but
I know,
I don't
but
know. Yeah,
it was still maybe.
It was Pag's bullshit adjacent.
Yeah, it's in the spirit of.
Yeah.
So we quickly talked about him, so I'm not sure we have much more to say about him, but we'll see. Word came out that GM Jason Botterill made a hefty offer to the New York Rangers, Artemi Panarin, before he ended up going to the Kings. The deal was rumored to be upwards of $60 million for 4 years, so about $14 to $15 million a year. You already loosely talked about him, like I said. What is your reaction to that dollar amount, at least?
Thank God we didn't trade for him. I'm not saying that Panarin's not like a good player. Like he's a quality player, one of the best Rangers to ever play the game. But he's 34. You're signing him to a 4-year deal. He's gonna be 38. We already know how, older players, as Derek mentions, they start to sail off into the sunset. So the last 2 years of his contract would depreciate tremendously. He'd be probably the second highest paid player in the NHL at that amount, behind Kaprizov. Ultimately, like I said, I think Jason Botterill, and like this is kind of like where my mindset goes with this whole like when Elliot Friedman dropped this news, my initial thought was, thank God we didn't do this. But secondly, I think where I started to go to was perhaps Botterill offered this to the Panarin camp after they found out that his preference was LA. So he knew that there was no chance in hell that the Seattle Kraken were going to trade for Panarin, but he wanted this out. So, he gave this ridiculous figure that, perhaps that if he did take it, they would have signed him to it. But this, maybe Botterill put this out there to be like, we're open for business. Like, we're willing to pay or even overpay for a superstar here in Seattle. So that definitely, like, and if that's the case, like, you're definitely opening up a lot of ears in the NHL for people that are, for players that are going to be UFAs in the future or are coming up to it, or, looking for extensions that maybe their team aren't willing to provide. So I start to wonder that if maybe like Botterill's main plan to this was, we're willing to give this type of money to the right player. Don't think Panarin was the right player, but this could materialize in the future where we're signing, one or two players to incredible contracts, because we're going into the off season with $35 million in cap space, with potentially four roster spots to fill, which leaves the Kraken in a very positive, like, they're in a positive like place to be in this offseason, where they could acquire some top end talent, either as a free agent or via trade, and offer extensions that may be overpayments now, but as the cap continues to climb, you're going to be laughing about it. So I'm glad it wasn't Panarin, just between age and just some other things that I'm not too keen on. But I think this is definitely giving the Kraken a more positive light, in the sense of they're open for business. They're willing to sign a player or extend a player that has that quality to a high amount. And I think that a lot of players and agents have taken notice of it.
Yeah, just some quick dollar facts for you. That if it was $15 million as an example, that would put him at number two behind Kaprizov, like you said, who's at 17 million. Second place currently is Draisaitl with 14 million. So that is that there. I do agree with you that I think the intention maybe wasn't to acquire Panarin, but it was to, chum the water and cast a line. And now you hope that a feeding frenzy will come by, because you know that Jason Botterill has his checkbook open, and on the total line it has 6 zeros, and he's just waiting to see what number goes at the front of it. So could be an exciting little bit of time as we approach the deadline here. Another element of this being that, as we mentioned before, Dave Pagnotta, he reported that the Kraken are going to be spending their break talking to their UFAs to see what the future looks like with them. This would include the likes of Jordan Eberle, Jaden Schwartz, Ellie Tolvanen, and Jamie Alexiak. Way back at the start of the season, we had our time capsule, I guess before the start of the season, we had our time capsule guessing who would stay and who would go. So we're going to have to wait and see. We might get an early answer to that before free agency comes around. Derek's just getting mauled
so
by his
Pack
cats right now.
the Pack's BS was this just in Kraken to talk to their players during the break? Is that what?
Yeah,
Oh
that's what it
wow!
was.
Okay.
Specifically the UFAs.
Wow. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, we can be hockey insiders, you guys.
Mm.
Breaking news across my desk. All teams want to win Stanley Cup.
Did you guys know that
False.
the players practice with each other?
Do they?
I heard they take the same bus or the same plane when they travel to games.
Oh, did you know they all wear two skates?
They get dressed in the same room together before games.
Whoa, that's wild. I don't know if I can take more facts. We got to start paywalling this stuff if we're going to keep throwing that out. Just a thing to mark on your calendar. Like we've said multiple times now, trade deadline is March 6th. So once the players return, that's just less than 2 weeks of a time frame to make those trades happen. So I'm sure they will come fast and furious as players come back. And we'll especially see, someone might start popping off over there in Italy and make strong cases for moving somewhere else. We'll just have to wait and see. Quick injury update for us. Berkeley Catton, who we said on the last pod was out with an injury following getting absolutely just leveled in that game against Edmonton. He was officially placed on IR. So we'll see. Hopefully, this little Olympic break will get him enough time to get healed up and back. And we had Jaden Schwartz, who missed the Kings game due to a lower body injury. And as a result of this, Oscar Fisker-Molgaard was called up from Coachella Valley to play a quick game before heading off to the Olympics to come in and fill that spot. No word on either of those guys as of now, and I'm sure there won't be for a bit, but fingers crossed those two guys bounce back because they're pretty solid pieces in this fixture of a team.
Yeah, Berkeley Catton, that's just a shame. I feel like he was starting to figure it out this season, so I'm hoping it's not too severe of an injury. Like, give him 2 weeks off, and hopefully he bounces back once the players return. Jaden Schwartz, he's just seemingly been battling injury all season, so that'll be kind of interesting to watch, especially with the deadline coming up. You wonder if he is a type of player that the Kraken dangle to see what they can get before the deadline passes. So, yeah, but let's just hope the injury stops.
For those
Why
can't
you gotta
see Derek,
do that?
Derek's crying in his chair right now.
Why you gotta do that, bro? Not Schwartz.
One thing that I'm worried about with Berkeley Catton is I don't want this to turn into like when Matty Beniers got hit with a concussion and missed a bunch of time and came back and was like totally gun shy, and it took him a while to get back to form. I hope that we don't have a rerun of that with Berkeley. So fingers crossed, because that's just what my thought goes to right away. Is he has some sort of concussion like thing going on right now, or is under concussion protocol because he went pretty limp and then pretty rigid when he got blasted there. So fingers crossed.
Definitely would not doubt it that he is a little bit more hesitant when he comes back. I'm sure it'd be hard not to be. But I mean, honestly, even if he's like slightly off, he's still better than like any forward we can replace him with at this point. So
True.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
All right. Since we only had 2 games last week and they were back-to-backs. Oh, hold on. We didn't say we won the second game of a back-to-back with that Kings game. So officially, I'm saying it. BTW certified back-to-back curse is squashed. It's done. It's over. Yeah. We don't have to worry about that anymore.
Have we put a rubber stamp on the Abyss jersey yet or no?
I think so.
I think we're like 50%.
Is it still 1 win?
I think we've had 2 wins. I don't know what one win, but
2 wins out of 8.
Yeah, something like that. So it's not. We've surpassed reverse retro. So there's that.
Like my test scores.
So in those 2 games, like I said, they were back to back. So we did get to see both goalies. Derek, can you break down how they looked and how they are doing this season?
Absolutely, Matt. So in the first game against Anaheim, Philip Grubauer was the goalie. Team Germany's own. Team Germany, stand up. Let's go. His expected goals against were 2.38, and his goals against, guys, you might want to cover your ears for this one. He allowed 4 goals against. Philly Goose Steak of old. 31 shots against, 27 saves. Please don't let Alex hear this one. 871 save percentage. No.
Yeah, the gentleman is back. Yeah.
No. great accent. Okay, and then against the Kings, Joey DeGord, he had 2.0 expected goals against and 2.0 goals against. Joey gets it done. DeGord, 27 shots against, 25 saves for a 926 save percentage. Rewinding and fast forwarding at the same time to the goals saved above expected per 60 minutes of play, minimum of 5 games played. Needless to say, Matt Murray's number one. He always is. That's my goat. Philip Grubauer is seventh, and Joey Daccord is 35th. Very fitting number for him. Back to you, Matthew.
So yeah, bummer week for Gru with that 871, but let's look at a silver lining that he is still above 900 on the year as a whole. He's at 916. So, you can have a bump in the road every once in a while. Everyone's allowed to have a bad day. That's what I tell my 12-year-olds, and it applies to 30-something-year-old goaltenders as well. And lastly, we have our milestones. We have a couple to touch on in this last week of games that were played. First off, one of our new favorite folks to talk about here, according to a post from Emerald City Hockey, Jacob Melanson has dealt out 112 hits in his first 21 NHL career games. This is a higher amount than each of the NHL's all-time hitters through their first 21 games. So I think he's found out what kind of player he wants to be, and he is filling those shoes. Didn't he get in a fight or at least a solid scuffle or two this last week as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, he absolutely did.
He's just an absolute unit. Like when you look at him, when you look at it like height and weight wise, you're like, nah, middle six guy probably doesn't do much, but he's the perfect hype guy that you need.
No, 100%.
Everybody needs a Jacob Melanson.
I feel like we called it pretty early. I feel like I also called it pretty early. Just to toot my own horn for a second. I was at I think the second game Melanson was in the lineup or something. It was against the Sabres. I went as a fan. Bro was just unreal. And I remember talking on the pod about that. And also back then bringing up the hit stats of the current hit leaders in the NHL this season, averaging them out and seeing how Melanson was averaging, he had the first place average of this year. So great find by ECH to see that, what's it called? Even historically, the hit leaders, he's up there, or actually blowing them out of the water in terms of his pace so far. So don't think it's quite sustainable to that level, probably, but when he's a kid and he's got a lot to prove, it's awesome to see how far he's willing to go.
He's 22. He's an RFA coming up here soon, so I think he's just trying to prove his worth as well, and get a contract signed.
Oh yeah, definitely over Cartier already.
Definitely over Cartier. What about Winterton? Winterton's also an RFA. If you had to pick one of the two,
Melanson. I love Ryan Winterton, but what Melanson brings to the lineup, it's what you need on the team. Winterton kind of provides that fourth line player, but it's not to the same energy level that you need in the fourth line. Melanson can do everything. So
I think keep them both though. I honestly like where Winterton's going. I think Winterton's going to develop into a good player. I agree with Alex.
And you've got
right
him slotting
now,
in on line too, so every so often too.
Yeah,
he's working his way up.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying get rid of Winterton. I'm saying you can keep both, but I'm definitely thinking that Winterton's going to be that type of player that battles getting a spot in the lineup, or has to maybe play a little bit more with the Firebirds. But depending on who you ship out, or bring back in the off season, he could definitely secure a role for next season easily.
We had simultaneous milestones achieved in the Kings game when it comes to games played. Eli Tolvanen played in his 400th NHL game, and Jared McCann played in his 700th NHL game. So pretty exciting dishing of souvenir pucks in the locker room video after that one.
Yeah, kind of wild to just think about the sheer amount of experience on this team. There's so much experience, thousands and thousands of games, so many playoff games, and even we have multiple Stanley Cup champions. Kind of crazy, dude. We hit the playoffs. I mean, these guys are kind of seen it all type shit. You know what I'm saying? So we just hit the playoffs. Fast track to the cup.
Yeah, let's make it happen. All right, we got no shovel stories this week because they were both away games. So let's look at our week ahead. It's going to be a little more than a week ahead at this rate because we are still in the Olympic break. So, Alex, what does it look like when the Kraken finally return to action?
So when the Kraken return after Team Canada has been crowned victors and have their gold medals. The Kraken have 3 games. So their first game back after the break will be against the Dallas Stars on February 25th. That will be in Dallas. Then Thursday, they'll be playing in St. Louis on the 26th. And then on Saturday, they're back at home on the 28th against the Canucks. The final stretch of games for the Seattle Kraken is extremely difficult. So not saying that, we're all positive about the playoffs, securing a playoff spot, but it's not going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be quite difficult. Dallas is one hell of a team. St. Louis is struggling, and the Canucks are dog doo doo. With that, I think we can go 2-1. Like but I'm still kind of like I don't know who that loss is going to come to because we do play good against good teams, and Dallas, we can compete against Dallas. St. Louis, I don't know why, but like, Matt, you kind of mentioned, Jordan Kyrou. Like I think of St. Louis and I'm like, there's another goal for Jordan Kyrou. But then the Canucks are the Canucks. So like I feel like we could beat the Dallas Stars and then beat one of the other two teams, but then absolutely have a floater of a game against one of those two bad teams. So that's kind of where I'm looking at it. What about you guys?
Well, Derek's going to say 3-0.
I can't make predictions anymore, but I will say if we don't beat the Canucks, I'm going to be extremely sad because they're projected to have like 65 points. But if I had to predict, if you guys are going to make me predict, geez.
Not making you do anything.
Like, chill, bro. Like, no, I'm just kidding. Okay. But we beat the Stars, we beat the Blues, and we beat the Canucks today.
What a swerve. I think we go 2-0-1. I think we overtime lose to the Stars, and then we win against the other things. And here's our clip this and reshare it later. When we go to St. Louis, we leave Shane Wright there, and Jordan Kyrou hops on the plane. The trade will happen after that game because like they're in the same room. They're gonna be like Jay Botts will meet up with GM What's Their Nut over in St. Louis and be like, "Hey, while we're here, I got a pen, you got a pen. Let's grab a cocktail napkin. Let's bang something out here." And
All right, even a hotter take, it happens before the game.
Oh, that would be wild.
Jordan Kyrou comes onto the ice for the Seattle Kraken, and Shane Wright comes onto the ice for the St. Louis Blues.
Even wilder, it happens mid-game, and they go to different locker rooms at the second intermission.
I don't know what random chemical is in the air up in Canada, but you guys are inhaling too much of it, and I need it to stop.
It's the snow.
It's the snow, yeah. It's
and the minus like 35, 40.
Hopefully none of that happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. Basically, we just said every possible outcome, so we for sure have something to clip.
Let's go, Pagnota.
Yeah, Shane Wright could be part of the Kraken, but if he's makes it to the deadline, he's still going to be part of the Seattle Kraken.
All right, Alex, can you let us know how things have been going in Coachella Valley because they are still going right now?
They are still playing. Coachella Valley, the Firebirds, they're now they're still sitting in 5th in the Pacific with a record of 25, 15, and 5. Jagr Furcus has been dethroned as the top scorer on the team. Logan Morrison it now leads the team in points with 23 goals and 23 assists for 46 points on the year. Not saying anything about Jagr Furcus. He hasn't dropped or anything. He's got 44 points. It's pretty good. They're having two great players produce. Yanni Newman is just tearing it up. He's played 17 games down there and has 11 goals. I've been saying this from the start. Newman's too good for the AHL, but needs the opportunity up in the NHL. But I think he's definitely working on the negative parts of his game to develop those so he can be a solid player for the Kraken, moving forward. This week, the Firebirds play twice. They're going to play against the Tucson Roadrunners. These games will take place on Friday, February 13th and Sunday, February 15th.
All right, so we'll see how that goes, and that'll do it for us this week. Just a real quick hit. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We got a little silly this week, and I'm curious to see how that goes or if that sticks. But we are going to take our own little Olympic break here with no Kraken hockey happening, and we are going to be back with you after the team returns. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of sick of this Canadian cold, so I'm going to Disneyland on Saturday, doing a little vacation on our week off of school. So looking forward to that. I will send you all the selfies with Mickey Mouse, and I will go sticker slap Splash Mountain with the
Amen.
BTW sticker and get banned from Disney properties for life.
Just
So
do
maybe,
it.
maybe I won't do that.
I'm not really good at my California geography because it's like 4 states. It's the size of like 4 states. But if you see any Kings players, you know what to do. That's all I'm going to say.
Ask them if they want to swap for Shane Wright and see what they think.
You see
All right.
Panarin.
Yeah. In the meantime, if people want to follow along with our takes, I'll be live tweeting Olympic hockey here and there when I'm able to, and sending out silly gifs and tweets and
go.
memes. Where might folks be able to do things like that, Derek?
Yeah, I'll let you know in just a second. But first, go over to bit.ly/BTWSTORE store, BTW store, and go check out the designs we have over there because we have a bunch of dope shit of we got Joey DeGord as Michael Jordan. We got Brandon Montour as Hulk Hogan. We got
Shane Wright.
Shane Wright as what's that dude's name? The host of The Price is Right.
Bob Barker / Drew
We
Carey.
got Shane Wright as Bob Barker. We got a bunch of stuff. Go check it out. Anyway, too many to count. Also, please drop a like and leave a comment or whatever you can on whatever podcast thing you're enjoying this on, whatever medium. And drop a follow. Literally do whatever you can to support it. It helps a ton. You can go like and share our stuff on any social media. And if you're wondering where you can find us, I'll make this short and sweet. So my name is Derek. I'm an American, but I ain't cheering for Team USA. But you could go follow the Kraken with us over at BTWSEA. All right, that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much, and we will see you in, 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. Bye!
We going beneath the waves. Going beneath the waves.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.